seen the theme of the poem An Elementary School Classroom in a Slum by Stephen Spender. It is social injustice and class inequalities. Now let us study the main points stanza wise. In stanza 1, the following are the main points. First, the poem portrays the pictures of an elementary school in a slum area. It is deprived of basic facilities such as nutritional food, balanced diet, air, sun, shine and potable water. Children are less interested in studies. The tall girl and paper-seeming boy all are victims of malnutrition. They are suffering from various diseases. A boy who is sitting at the back is dreaming of squirrel games. That means he's being imaginative. He wants to run away from this classroom and wants to go and explore the world. He has no interest in the classroom activity. Now let us see the main points of stanza 2. The classroom wall contains pictures and paintings like Shakespeare's head, developed cities with skyscrapers, Tyroler's valley, aesthetically beautiful, problem-free world, cloudless at dawn. They came by donations. These pictures belong to the world of the rich and the prosperous. These slum dwellers, they do not have a place in this world. The world of these poor and deprived children contrasts with the world depicted on classroom walls. The rich have drawn an open-handed map, which is of no use to them as their world is limited to the end of the street. That means they cannot afford to live in the civilized society. They are bound to live in the slum area. They are far from rivers, caves and stars of words. Their future is bleak and uncertain. Now let us see the main points of stanza 3. Shakespeare is wicked. According to the slum children, Shakespeare is wicked. He's an evil man. And map is a bad example. Why? As they do not correspond to their limited narrow world. That means both of them, they do not belong to the world of slum dwellers. Ships and sun depicted on the wall tempt them to experience the world of the rich with all its glory. However, they cannot get this opportunity as the responsible people do not want it. These malnourished children wearing mended glasses oscillate between fog and endless night. Fog, their future is quite bleak, and endless night, that means they live in darkness, darkness of ignorance, uncivilized society. They pass all their time and space in the hell, that is the slum. This hell is the entire world. They cannot run away from this world. Now let us see what is there in stanza 4. Now in all these stanzas, the world of the rich and the powerful is depicted. We come across the malnourished children. We come across that the literature does not hold any importance for these slum children. But the stanza 4, the end of this poem, offers a note of positivity, a note of optimism. The poet calls upon governors, inspectors and visitors to review the system before it is too late. That means not to have a demarcation between the civilized and the slum area world. The revised system should empower these children to break away from the shackles of poverty and deprivation. He urges the civilized people to help them enjoy all the facilities such as blue sky, the sunshine, the sea waves, the fresh air, good and sufficient nutritious food. Let the pages of wisdom be open for them, and their tongues may run freely on the white leaves of the books. That means till now, they were not able, these slum children were not able to express themselves. But let us come together and give them the freedom of speech. Only those people find a place in history whose language has the warmth and the power of the sun. In other words, history tells us that their names are only in the books who are very rich and powerful. Similarly, let us all join hands together to make these slum children powerful and help them in improving their lot. Lot is the destiny. Now let us look up at the poetic devices that are used in this poem. In stanza 1, we have 5 poetic devices. The first one is simile. In the line, these children faces like rootless weeds. The second one is a repetition or refrain. This word is repeated far, far in order to emphasize that these slum children are far away from the civilized world. Alliteration, the repetition of the consonant F. The metaphor, the paper seeming boy, to compare the boy to the sheet of paper, that is just like the sheet of paper is thin. So was the case of this boy. He was malnourished, he was undernourished. And the gusty waves. The poetic device used here is imagery, where we the readers can use our imagination. Now let us come up to stanza 2. Again we have repetition in far, far. We have alliteration in far from, and metaphor in sour cream walls. That means the cream, the wall, the color of the wall, cream in color, is compared to the cream which becomes sour. World its world, sealed with a lead sky. In stanza 3, again we have alliteration. From fog, tempting them. We have a simile in spectacles of steel like bottle bits on stone, slums as big as doom, and a metaphor in cramped holes. And in the last stanza, we have 3 poetic devices. One is apostrophe. Apostrophe, my dear students, is the poetic device which is used to address someone. So here it is used to address the governors, the visitors and the teachers. Break, oh break. We have metaphor. The white and the green leaves open. Map becomes their window. That means these window, that is the pages of the book, they become the color of the white and the green. And the simile, windows shut upon their lives like catacombs.